today I'm joined once again by my lovely assistant Sam. So Sam, would you like to help me out for this trick?
Yeah, sure.
Can you take the deck and shuffle it as much as you'd like? Just want this to be a completely random shuffled deck, okay? When you're done with the deck, I'll take it back and I'm just gonna explain what I'd like you to do in a moment, because I'm gonna hand you the deck back. And what I'd like you to do is you're going to, with your thumb here, you're just gonna riffle in the back until you get about halfway. You're gonna peek at the card that you've riffled to, put it back, and then shuffle the deck, okay? So, does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn away so I'm not looking, but when you peek at the card, can you also show the camera as well? Because I want the audience to see it as well. Okay, so then you put everything back and then just give it a nice shuffle.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So you can agree that was all in your hands. I was not looking, right? I was turned around. So, okay, obviously the goal for this trick is for me to find your card. And I already know that your card was a spade or a diamond, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and it was also a red card.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So obviously that helps a little bit, but I still don't know the exact identity of the card. So that's why I'm gonna have to go in here and do some extra stuff. I think if I make some predictions here, I actually think I will get it. So okay, this could be a little tricky. I'm gonna try this though. Okay, let's see if I can do it. So I'm gonna actually, can you tell me when to stop? I'm gonna riffle with my thumb to say stop.
Stop.
Right here? Okay,
Yeah.
so right where you said stop, I'm going to see if I can feel for your card. Okay. Okay. Getting closer. I'm gonna go one more. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. What was the name of your card? You can tell me.
It's 10 of diamonds.
10 of diamonds. Interesting. It's a good thing that I took one more card. 10 of diamonds right there. And that is the trick. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this trick. And if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So I just want to give a little bit of a disclaimer before I begin this tutorial. I just want to say that this trick is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. The risk factor for this trick is extremely, extremely high, and there's like a high chance that it will not work. And sometimes you do just have to get lucky in order for this trick to even work. But if it does work, it looks so impossible, it looks so hands-off and so fair, because the spectator really does choose their own card and they really can shuffle it anywhere they want to in the middle, and somehow you are able to locate it. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this trick, but yeah, just a little bit of a disclaimer. If you guys are expecting this to work every single time, don't, because this trick does not work every single time, and don't be disappointed with that. Hopefully you guys like the idea that I came up with in order to sort of find the spectator's card. I do think it's a really cool idea, and if you guys want to expand on this idea, please go ahead and feel free to do so. I would love to hear your ideas and thoughts and suggestions in the comments below for ways to improve this. Without further ado, I will show you guys the idea of how to basically locate the spectator's card in this way. So this is a completely impromptu effect. The spectator can really shuffle the cards beforehand. There's no setup to this trick. The first thing that you're going to want to do in this trick is explain to the spectator how to choose a card. There's two purposes for explaining this to the spectator. The first is so that they understand very clearly how to select a card, because if they select the card incorrectly, then there's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to locate this card. And in addition to that, the other reason why you're explaining to the spectator is actually so that you can get a key card of your own. The spectator can shuffle the cards before we begin. Once they're done shuffling, you're going to take the deck back and you're going to explain to the spectator how to select a card. They're going to do this by taking their thumb, going up about halfway in the deck, taking a look at the card, putting it back, and then shuffling. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to memorize the card that I just looked at, and that's actually going to be a key card. So what I'm going to try and do is go as close to the middle as possible. So I'm going to go as close to the middle as possible. I think that here's about middle. And I'm going to peek at the card as I'm explaining to the spectator what to do, pretending like this would be the spectator's card. But this is actually going to be my key card, and I'm just going to memorize this for the rest of the trick. Queen of diamonds. I'm going to place the cards back, and then I'm going to tell the spectator that they can shuffle the cards, but all I'm going to do is just shuffle a few single cards off the bottom, and I'm not really going to disturb that queen of diamonds in the center of the deck. I want to explain to them very, very clearly what the middle of the deck is, so not too high, not too low. I can even say that in my pattern when I'm explaining. So don't go too high, don't go too low. Try to go somewhere exactly in the middle, because I want it to be very, very difficult for me to know where it would be. So if you tell the spectators this, then they will really try to go as close to the middle as possible. And basically, the closer that they are to your key card, the better this trick will be, because the easier it will be for you to locate the card. So let's say they do this and they find the 5 of spades, and that will be their card. They close the deck and they give it a shuffle. You actually want them to overhand shuffle just once. You don't want them to overhand shuffle multiple times, and you definitely do not want them to do a riffle shuffle. So when you're explaining to them how to do this selection process, you just shuffle it very quickly and then just stop. So you don't want to make it a big deal about shuffling. And also, when you're performing this trick, when you actually hand the deck over to the spectator and they shuffle, as they're shuffling, you can actually hold your hand out and ask for the deck back as they're shuffling, so that it'll basically force them to finish up shuffling very, very quickly, because you want them to do as little shuffling as possible. So that way there'll be the least chance of the cards getting mixed around. An overhand shuffle is very, very similar to just the act of cutting a deck of cards. It moves clumps of cards around in the deck, but it never really separates cards, especially if they're close together. So that's why you want the spectator's card to be very, very close to your key card. So let's go ahead and spread the deck and see how close together the queen of diamonds and the 5 of spades are. So here we have the queen of diamonds, and here we have the 5 of spades. You can see they're only separated by 2 cards. So that's actually pretty good in my case, because what I want to do is I'm actually going to be finding my key card that I memorized, so my queen of diamonds, and all I'm going to do is just cut that card to the top of the deck so it's the top card. And I'm going to basically ask the spectator some questions. This is actually a process called fishing. I'm going to be getting the information of the suit of the card, and that's really all I need to know in order to locate the card. So I'm very inspired by Danny Ortiz for this method of fishing, because you just call out some suits and you ask the spectator if their card was one of those suits, and by them telling you yes or no, you're basically able to narrow it down to the exact suit that they've selected. I like to do this sort of like Danny Ortiz does it. He basically calls out 2 random suits. He says, so I already know that your card is a spade or a diamond. I just say that randomly. I genuinely, at this point, I have no idea what their card is, but I'm just going to call out. So I already know that your card's a spade or a diamond. Now they, in this case, are going to say yes, because it was the 5 of spades. So if they say yes, then I say, okay, and I also know that it was a red card. Now they're going to say no, it wasn't a red card. So that tells me if it was a spade or a diamond, but it was a black card, then that means it has to be a spade. So that's how I can get the information of the suit of the card. I just ask those 2 questions and instantly I'll be able to figure out what the suit is. So this applies for any suit that they can pick. If it was hearts, I say, I already know it was a spade or diamond, right? They say no, and I say, but it was a red card, and they say yes. If they say no and then yes, I already know it's a heart. So you could see how I can derive the suit just from those 2 questions. So that's a very, very simple process. And now I know that their card was a spade. Basically what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be locating all of the closest spades from the top and bottom of the deck. So as you can see here, I'll start with the bottom. I see I have the 8 of spades here, and I'm gonna limit myself to maybe the bottom 6 cards, maybe even 7, because these are all the cards that the spectator could have possibly seen. But I know that their card was a spade, so I'm gonna basically be locating all of these spades. When I find the spades, I'm just gonna basically be cutting them to the top. So I'll just be moving them over to the top of the deck here, and then I'm gonna go over to the top of the deck and then find the spades that are closest to the top here. So I have the 10 of spades, and then I have the 5 and the 7, and then maybe I'll even do the 9 as well. But now I have about 6 spades here on top of the deck, and that's really all I need in order to find their card. I'm pretty positive that one of these spades is going to be the spectator's card. So then what I do is I'm actually going to be shuffling 3 random cards on top of the deck, and now I basically do the ending of the trick called out of sight, out of mind. So I'm going to tell the spectator that I'm going to basically be feeling for their card, and when I arrive at their card, I'm going to basically stop. So what I'm going to do is take the top 3 cards, because these 3 cards are completely random cards that I just shuffled on top. But now I'm going to basically place my pinky down, and from now on, I'm going to be looking at the top 5 cards, and I'm going to be memorizing the number sequence that I see. And then since I chose 6 spades, that will then leave 1 spade on top of the deck, but I'll be remembering a 5-number sequence that will be in my hand. So the first one I'm going to peek at and remember, okay, 9, hold a break. So we have a 9, 9, 7, 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5, 10, and then one more, 9, 7, 5, 10, 6. So you're going to stop here and you're going to ask the spectator to finally name the card that they saw. And then they're gonna name the card that was seen, which is the 5 of spades, and you're gonna remember your sequence. I believe that was the 3rd one down. So I'm just gonna riffle off until I get that 5 and say it's a good thing that I took one more, and then you're just gonna do a double or triple lift in this case in order to reveal their card, and then that will be the end of the trick. So it's basically a multiple outs trick, but it will always look exactly the same because you'll either do a double lift, a triple lift, or a quadruple lift. It really doesn't matter though, as long as you can make it look good. In the performance, I was very, very lucky because I actually stopped at the last card and it just so happened to be the top card that Sam had picked. So that was a very, very lucky ending. There's also the other ending is the card could be the card over here because you left 1 card on top. So if they name a spade that you did not see in the sequence, for example, you're memorizing 9, 7, 5, 10, 6, and if they name the 8 of spades, remember you left 1 over here. So that card has to be the card on top of the deck. And it should be if you took the cards from the top and the bottom of the deck, from where your key card was in the deck. The cards in the ending here should be correct because if you tell the spectator to choose a card exactly in the middle of the deck, then these spades should be the only spades in proximity to your key card that you were memorizing before. But yeah, that's essentially how this trick works. It's a very, very risky trick, as you guys can see. It has a very, very high chance of failing. However, I do believe it is worth trying. I do think that if it does go well, it will really, really fool whoever you're showing it to because they'll agree that they were the ones choosing the card and they were able to shuffle the cards as well. Yeah, that's the trick, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And see you guys next time. Bye.